We're in London at the headquarters of Ovum. I'm here with Alexandra Rehak. She is the Analyst Group's IoT expert. Alexandra, good to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Ray. Thanks for inviting me.
Pleasure. So, as usual, you're heading to Mobile World Congress in Barcelona again this year. What are the key things you're expecting to hear and be talking about at that show in terms of the IoT market?
So IoT is a huge focus at MWC. So it's a really important show for the industry in terms of announcements and looking at what's really going on and what's coming up. For us, looking at where the IoT market is right now, it's exciting, it's growing, lots going on. Lots of action, but a little bit of the froth has come off, I think it's fair to say, which is a good thing. We're sort of moving more towards reality. And I think for us, this is the year where we're looking for how does POC move to reality? So how do we go really from proof of concepts, and there are many, many of those in all industries, using all technologies really all over the world, to, okay, what's really going to scale here? And we see a few areas where things are already scaling, but one of the things we're looking for evidence of at MWC and discussions around is, where is it really picking up action, and where it's not, where things aren't scaling, what's really holding that back? What are the factors?
Okay. And so, in terms of the devil is always in the detail, what specific things are you going to be talking about with the IoT companies there at the show?
So the first is really around enabling technologies, and that's in a few different categories. So of course 5G, one of the big headline topics at the show. We'll be looking at that, but there's lots going on in IoT that isn't 5G related. Yep. So we're looking at what's happening with LPWAN, narrowband IoT, and LTM as well, but we also look at unlicensed spectrum technologies. So what's happening on the connectivity front, and again, where is that going forward? Kind of matching up our forecast to reality. We're also looking at enabling technologies at different layers of the stack. So blockchain, for example, how is blockchain feeding into the IoT proposition? We see it coming up in supply chain, we see it coming up in energy management, looking at edge compute, where is that fitting into the IoT picture, and how much traction is that getting with customers? What are the new propositions around it? So that's one key area.
Okay.
A second one is really around industry-specific solutions. So I think it's become clearer and clearer that the IoT is really about enterprises and industries. At the end of the day, that's where you need to make your proposition clear and make the value clear.
Yes. And do not mention the connected fridge ever again, people, please.
Yeah, well, they're still out there. So I saw a fabulous egg rottenness predictor on a fridge the other week, and I'm thinking, would I buy this? Probably not. But there's still that stuff going on. But much more concretely at industry level, you really have very exciting things going on in automotive and transport for sure. Smart cities, industry-specific solutions there, where we see a few that are really gaining traction, and of course industrial IoT and manufacturing, utilities, all of those areas where you really have quite industry-specific propositions being pulled together by groups of partners, and finding places in the market, and the customers are coming into those propositions as partners too. Okay. So that's a key element of it. So industry-specific is one. Then the third area is really around IoT data. So we've seen lots and lots of discussion over the past year, and we'll see lots more going forward about what do you do with your IoT data. You've got the efficiency going, you're using it for customer experience improvement. What else can you do with it? And lots of ideas floating around out there, lots of discussion about IoT data monetization models. Where do you take it? How do you do that safely, securely, respecting customer privacy, data protection, and so on. So things you can do with your IoT data, and real evidence of that, real propositions where you're an enterprise, I can go to you and say, here, this is what we can layer on top of what you've already got in your IoT solution to help you make more from this.
Okay.
So that's one. And then the final one is around new business models. And this is sort of a perennial one for us. We're always looking at business models and the value chain, and how are you sort of putting it together if you're in the industry. Money, yes. Where is the money, exactly. And what can you do to drive ROI? And one of the things that we're seeing coming up is stories around not just usage-based contracts, but really outcome-based contracts where if you're an enterprise, I'm your provider, you're going to pay me based on the results you get. So you're going to pay me based on the energy savings realized, or you're going to pay me based on the improved effectiveness of your manufacturing process, or whatever it happens to be. So those types of kind of more creative contracts, which are they're complicated. It's not that they're really prevalent in the market right now, but they're definitely starting to come up in the conversation.
Well, I mean, this industry is always talking about meeting customer needs. That's a way to do it, isn't it? It might be tricky, but everything that's worth doing is tricky, pretty much. So.
It is, and it's a way of kind of sharing the risk, of course, for the customer. So, and sort of developing a closer partnership with your provider, effectively. But you need a lot of trust to be able to do that. So,
absolutely.
So making sure that trust is there requires very close customer relationship. And again, we're looking for good stories around that. How our company is doing that.
Okay, excellent. Well, it sounds like you're going to have a very busy week, as ever, in Barcelona.
We hope so.
Lots to look at, and we look forward to finding out, what you've seen at the show, what you've learned at the show, and seeing the analysis afterwards.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, as always.